Hello, it's Cindy Feldman Angulo. I am here to tell you about the AHA belt and the AHA system that I've created. So, if you are one of those people that when you work out, it hurts, like not in a good way, this is your tool. I have had more people that don't want to do HIIT training or P90X and some of that because it bothers their joints. Guess what? Add this thing to it. What it is it's a belt. You wear it one of two ways. FLEXION people or red team wears it pulled backwards. Blue team wears it pulled forward. How do you know what you are? Go to the website. Take the quiz. Call us if you need to. We can answer those questions. Once you figure it out, you attach yourself. You get that pull, and you'll be like, whoa. I feel good. I feel light, right? Your squats are going lower. Your glutes are on. Your abs are on. You're feeling everything you've ever wanted to feel. A lot of the times, the joint pains that you have, they're nowhere to be found. How awesome is that? Let's say it does posture, fixes it. Pain can help relieve it. Performance can make you jump and run faster and higher and recruit more muscles and all those other beautiful things. And then prevention. Everybody needs to learn how to prevent injury if we can. And I think that this is going to be the key to success. Anyways, there's two body types, right and left-handed. I am flexion, we'll call it red. And then there's the blue team, which is extension. All right, now flexion is backside of the body's weak, so you pull me back, backside has turn on. The other side is front side of the body's weak, you pull them forward, the front side has to turn on. All the weaknesses, injuries, overuse injuries lie within that. So this system, I have a belt. Now this belt, in my case, has blocks, has a band in it. You see that? Now, I have it so that it only touches my stomach. It does not touch my lower back, okay? And then the extension people, the blue team would wear it where the blocks are up here so it doesn't touch their abs. I also have shoulder straps. Now in my case, I wear my shoulders this way and it attaches down to my belt. And then I have a carabiner that can travel. And I can go do every exercise, such as running, jumping, and all that, and cardio equipment, and weights, and there's no impact. So anyone who has injuries, can't do high intensity exercise, this is your tool. So I get a lot of questions on why are you so passionate about this? Number one, back surgery, 2 C-sections, a diastasis repair. I've had my midsection ripped open times 10. Not to mention I was an obese child growing up. Not obese like huge, but obese like an over fat. I was a good athlete, but over fat, and I was getting hurt all the time, especially my back. And I wish I would have known a lot of this stuff. So I remember, like, right before my grandfather died, he was an inventor, okay? And right before he died, he saw my report card and he says, that's the next one. She's the next inventor of the family. I mean, he's a well-known inventor. I'm going to leave that out right now. But anyways, I believed that, and when I tripped into this concept, kind of doing my own rehab, just trying to get through life and not be in pain, and found some trends between me and my clients and what the researchers were reporting, and there was some stuff that wasn't reported, but I was kind of noticing, so I just started documenting, and 3 years later, here we are. And right before my mom died, I remember I said, Mom, this is it. This is what Granddaddy was talking about. I said, this is my purpose. This is what I believe will change the world. I really believe that it will change the way we live. And you know something? The best feeling, and everyone's like, how are you so high on life and all that? And I mean, not that life doesn't come at me, it does. By hearing your child say, my mommy's saving the world one belt at a time, priceless. You know what I mean? And I know my intent in this world. I want to make people feel good. I want to make people have the opportunity to move. And the word of possibility being there and not limitation is my whole drive. And I've overcome a lot, and so can you. So, what is this? It is not a weight belt. This thing has pressure points. It's got pull. It does all these things. It turns your neural system on. Basically, you will get butt. You will get abs. You will get the best body you can have. I have seen people develop in areas that were next to impossible to develop, and it makes sense because of what this is happening is there's a neurological like misfire, I guess you would call it. So I found that if you add touch to just part of the body, everything turns on. But there's only two ways that you add the touch. So either your flexion, red team, way 1, or extension, blue team, way 2. Which one are you? Go to our website, www.flexxsolutions.com. Find out what you are, and then what you can do to fix that or learn about it is we have a system, the AHA system, where I can attach you forward or backwards, and when you get that pull and you do traditional exercises, it becomes very clear why or why not you have not been developing in certain areas, because you have never felt that. You can't teach what it feels, okay? Warm water, warm. How do you tell somebody what warm is? Do you describe it? Oh, it's like the sun. And so, wouldn't it be easier just to dip their hand in the water and say, that's warm, right? That is what this is. This is a kinesthetic teaching tool that I have never seen anything remotely close to this, and it's exciting because I think that it could potentially rewrite science. It could dictate, maybe what career would be the best move for us to go into. It can prevent injury. It can actually help with injury. It's amazing. The 4 Ps: pain, posture, performance, prevention, and don't forget body fat loss. How can you tell who is what? There's this flexion and extension, or red team, blue team thing, right? And it's a body dominance, and we're born with it. And how do you see it? Ones or the red team, or we'll call them flexion also. People will put their hands right here. Another one, flexion people, they put their hands really low around their lower back because it kind of turns their abs on. Another big one, they put their foot up and stuff like that, and they lean. And even funnier, in the car, they scoot their butt forward and put their foot up on the seat. So if that is you, I have a whole slew of exercises and things that will change your life. Traditional stuff in certain areas will actually hurt you, and I believe that I have some of the keys to your success. Now, 2s. What does that look like? Yeah, they tend to stand with their hands on their back, especially for long periods of time. They're the ones that cross their arms really high. They put their foot on the wall. A 2 generally will reach up and lean up into things. They love to lay on their back. They scoot their butt way back in the seat, and they sit very upright. So those are the 2s. Again, I have a whole slew of things. Your injuries, the best exercises for you, the ways to develop your butt, and all these fun things. And I wanted to cover injuries that I've seen on these 2 different body types. So flexion, these are the common ones. So see if these apply to you. These are the wear and tear. Calf tears, ACL, hamstring tears, weak hips. We trip a lot. Our shoes are a freaking mess. Diastasis, separation of the abs. Slip disc and bulging disc from the posterior or lateral part of the back. Bicipital tendonitis. We get tight necks, but in reality, it's not tight, it's locking because it's actually so weak. It's like, no, don't do it, right? So that is the flexion injuries. Yeah, it sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? If you have a lot of those, I would start to question, you might want to learn this, right? Now, extension. Let's talk the other world, right? Extension, that's a whole different thing. You got Achilles tears, you got meniscus tears, sometimes an ACL. You have quad tears. You have ridiculously tight hip flexors that you cannot release for your life. Abs, you can't even feel your abs. You do 1,000 crunches, your neck and your back are just sore as can be, and you can just keep crunching, right? Because it's not getting in. You get migraines. You guys walk around like this. This is generally one of the telltales, is I see your straight shoulders. And then the last one is you guys tend to get numbness down your arm, tennis elbow, stuff like that. So the cool thing is, if you have any of those or most of those and it seems to line up, the more you have most of those in one category, I believe I can impact your life in such a way that you have not even saw it possible. Please contact me. And I wanted to explain to you a little bit more about this flexion extension or red team, blue team thing. How can you tell? Now, one thing I've actually gotten really good at over the past 3 years is starting to see these trends. I'm going to tell you what the red team trend is. Okay, tell me if this fits you. A lot of times, these red team people have big quads like the jeans. They just don't fit, right? They're tight around your quads, yet they're really loose on your waist. That is generally a flexion thing. Now, another thing that we have is we get that separation in the abs. So when somebody's standing up and you see that nice little line down the center, that generally is a flexion person. And part of it's because maybe a faulty ab pattern. Another big one is flexion people tend to have no shoulders. They have long necks and their shoulders kind of go, and they don't really have these lines on their shoulders because they have monstrous arms, triceps, but the biceps just never get cut. You're lifting big weights, but they just, why am I not getting a ball in my bicep? This does not make sense. I'm doing everything right. And same thing with the shoulders. So if that is you, you are flexion. That is what I've created. Anyways, I wanted to go over how you can even tell who's flexion and extension. So I covered a flexion in an earlier segment. Now I want to cover extension. Extension blue team. How can you tell? Generally, they have massive calves because their calves do everything, and they have generally flatter butts. The only ones that I've noticed that have really round butts are the gymnasts that have these monster sways. Then they have a really nice butt. So it's like, right? Another thing that kind of defines extension. Now, this is not a catch-all. There are some people that train based on how they feel rather than what they're told. They generally have really skinny quads. They have like a ballerina, sometimes the basketball player look, the long, lanky look. I can actually change that now. It is amazing. If you've had a hard time growing your quads, this is for you. Another one, extension. They tend to walk around with no neck. They either have really overdeveloped traps, they have no neck space, and they always tend to complain about migraines. Now, granted, everybody can be up and forward, but extension people tend to be really up, and they tend to look really narrow on the back. They don't have that really big V taper, but they do have really ripped shoulders, and they got great biceps. So if that fits you, contact us, and we can give you a whole slew of exercises, not only to help you, but to define your body in different ways and to prevent injury. I'll tell you something. When I was working out, obviously tied up with my clients, I noticed this little kid was just staring. Now, I used to be an obese child, and one of my missions in life is to teach children how to get in shape, but also not to identify that their body is not who they are, to separate those so they don't become victims of the physical being. Anyways, this little kid's like, I want to do that. That looks fun, you know, because we're on bungees. So if you have a kid that is maybe overweight and stuff like that, number one, you make them run, it hurts. You put this on, it stops. And number two, it's really fun. So if you know some kids out there that want something new, and I mean, I'm coming from a kid telling me, I want to try that, that looks fun, right? And he's a little fat kid. I was like, oh, this is awesome. That's the perfect source. So again, reaching out to anyone who knows any kids, this is a great tool to get them active. And if you have kids in sports, this may keep them safe. All right. I've created a concept. It's called flexion and extension. But teaching group X classes, I've realized we need to do it as like flexion is ones or red, extension is blues or twos, okay? And we can even get a little cancer band, so the red team wears the red ones, and the blue team wears the blue ones, and everyone's goal is to become neutral, which means I can't really tell what you are. That's a good thing, okay? That's a white one. You will never flip teams from my understanding and from what I've explored.
Gotta get that boom, boom, boom. 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 That boom, boom, boom. That boom, boom, boom. Yo, I got that hit to beat the block. You can get that bass on below. I got that rock and roll, that future flow, that digital spit, next level visual shit. I got that boom.